The restaurant is the kind of place where everything costs more than my rent. Crystal chandeliers hang from vaulted ceilings. White tablecloths so crisp they look like fresh snow. Harper's 30th birthday party. Everyone rises when she enters, wearing a gold dress that probably cost $3,000. Everyone except me. I'm the shadow sibling. The one who doesn't quite fit into the family portrait. Harper glides toward the head table, smile wide and perfect for the cameras her friends are holding. Then she stops beside me. Leans down. That smile stays plastered on her face, but her eyes go cold as winter. "There's no seat for you inside, Marley," she whispers sweetly. "You can sit outside. By the patio." The entire table goes silent. Guests stare. Some look away uncomfortably. Mom pretends to check her phone, pretending she didn't hear a word. The humiliation burns through my chest like acid. I stand slowly, my chair scraping against the marble floor. Then a deep, commanding voice behind me cuts through the silence like a knife. "She'll sit where I sit." To continue, please smash the like button, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our stories. Drop your comments if you've ever been betrayed. Let's get this to 1,000,000 likes. I turn around and freeze completely. Wells Thompson stands there in an expensive gray suit, silver hair perfectly styled, blue eyes sharp as broken glass. Dad's former business partner. The man our family avoids like a curse. The man Mom specifically told me never to contact. Harper's face drains of every ounce of color. Her mouth opens but no sound comes out. Wells pulls out a chair at a small table on the outdoor patio, right beside the decorative trash bins Harper intended for me. He sits down like it's the most dignified place in the entire restaurant. Like we're royalty choosing our throne. "Mr. Thompson," Harper stammers, her voice cracking. "I didn't know you were coming. There must be some mistake with the seating." "No mistake," Wells says calmly, cutting her off. "Your sister and I have much to discuss." "Don't we, Marley?" I sink into the chair beside him, my hands shaking. Wells leans closer, his voice dropping low so only I can hear. Harper watches us from inside, her birthday smile completely gone now. "It's time you know why they treat you this way," Wells says quietly. "It's time you know everything your father wanted you to know before he died." Wells doesn't waste time with small talk. He opens his briefcase and pulls out a folder, sliding it across the table toward me. My hands tremble as I open it. Inside is a printed email chain from 7 years ago. The subject line makes my stomach drop. National Merit Scholarship. Finalist notification, Marley Chen. I stare at the words, not understanding. "You were supposed to receive a full-ride scholarship to Boston University when you were 17, Wells says, his voice steady but angry. "Academic excellence. Leadership potential. They chose you out of 12,000 applicants." My throat closes up. "I never got any scholarship offer." "I know," Wells says. "Because your sister intercepted the email. She had access to your laptop that summer, remember? She deleted the notification from your inbox and spam folder. Then she applied using some of your credentials and her own essay. She took your slot." The world tilts sideways. I grip the edge of the table. "That's not possible. Harper went to Boston on a scholarship, but it was for academic merit," Wells finishes. "Your academic merit." I can't breathe. 7 years. 7 years of watching Harper succeed while I struggled through community college and state school. 7 years of feeling less than. "And that's not even the worst part," Wells adds, pulling out another document. Wells spreads a blueprint across the table. It's a real estate development plan with my father's handwriting all over the margins. Notes and calculations. "Your father and I built a commercial property development project 15 years ago," Wells explains. 2 buildings. 2 investment shares. 1 for his daughter Harper. 1 for his daughter Marley. Equal inheritance. Equal opportunity. I trace my finger over Dad's handwriting. His distinctive slanted script. "What happened?" My voice sounds hollow. "Your mother happened," Wells says, his jaw tightening. 6 months after we finalized the project, she convinced your father that you lacked promise. That you weren't business-minded. That Harper deserved both shares because she'd be more successful. Your father was recovering from his first stroke. He was vulnerable. She pushed and pushed until he agreed to sign amended documents. The betrayal feels like drowning. So Harper got everything. Harper got everything that was meant for both of you, Wells confirms. Your share of that project is now worth approximately $4.7 million. The number doesn't even register. I just feel empty. Suddenly Harper appears on the patio, her heels clicking sharply against the stone. Her hands are shaking. Not from anger. From something that looks a lot like fear. Harper stands over our table, trying to maintain her birthday party smile but failing completely. Her hands tremble as she grips her champagne glass so tight I think it might shatter. Mr. Thompson, I don't know what you're telling my sister, but this is my birthday party. Could you please? Could I please what? Wells asks calmly, not standing up. Could I please stop telling Marley the truth about what you and your mother did to her? Harper's face goes red, then white, then red again. She leans down, her voice dropping to a hiss that only we can hear. You don't know what you're starting here. You have no idea what this will do to this family. I know exactly what I'm starting, Wells replies. Justice. Something your father wanted before he died but couldn't accomplish because your mother controlled everything near the end. Harper's champagne glass actually does shatter in her hand. She doesn't seem to notice the glass cutting her palm until blood starts dripping onto the white tablecloth. She stares at me, and for the first time in my life, I see something in my sister's eyes that I've never seen before. Pure, undiluted fear. Wells leans closer to me and whispers so quietly that Harper can't hear. Ask her about the internship in Atlanta. Harper wraps her bleeding hand in a napkin, still staring at me like I'm a bomb about to explode. What internship in Atlanta? I ask, my voice surprisingly steady. Harper's eyes go wide. Marley, don't. The marketing internship at Coca-Cola headquarters, Wells provides. 5 years ago. You were one of 3 finalists. The recruiter called your references. Want to guess what your sister told them? My stomach turns to ice. I remember that internship. I'd made it so far in the process. Then suddenly they ghosted me completely. Never returned my calls or emails. Harper. I say quietly. My sister's face crumbles. Just for a second, her perfect mask slips completely, and I see something raw underneath. Guilt. Shame. Fear. The recruiter called me because I was listed as a character reference, Harper says, her voice barely above a whisper. I told them you choked under pressure. That you'd had a nervous breakdown during exams. That you weren't reliable for high-stress environments. The betrayal hits me so hard I can't breathe. You destroyed my chance at that internship. You lied about me having a breakdown. I'm sorry, Harper whispers, and for once, she might actually mean it. Wells reaches into his jacket and pulls out a sealed envelope. He slides it across the table to me. Open it, he says. Your father wanted you to have this 2 years ago. Your mother hid it from you. My hands shake as I tear open the envelope. Inside is a handwritten letter on my father's personal stationery. His handwriting is shaky but unmistakable. The date at the top makes me freeze. 1 week before he died. My dearest Marley, the letter begins. If you're reading this, it means I'm gone, and I pray that Wells has found you. I need you to know that I always saw you. I always valued you. And I want you to inherit my Memphis rental portfolio. 8 properties that generate income. This is separate from the business project with Wells. This is yours alone. I've instructed Wells to ensure you receive this, no matter what your mother or sister say. You deserve your own foundation. Your own success. Don't let anyone make you feel small. Love always, Dad. I read it 3 times. Tears blur the words. Dad wanted me to have something. He saw me. He valued me. I look up at Harper, who's gone completely pale. You weren't supposed to see that, she blurts out. Then she claps her hand over her mouth, realizing what she just admitted. You knew, I whisper. You knew this letter existed. Harper backs away slowly, shaking her head. But the truth is written all over her face. Mom appears in the doorway, her expression tight with barely controlled rage. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our stories. Drop your comments if you've ever been betrayed. Mom storms onto the patio, her designer dress swishing with each angry step. Mr. Thompson, I'm going to have to ask you to leave immediately. This is a private family event. Wells doesn't even look at her. He pulls out another folder, this one much thicker. I'm not going anywhere, Patricia. Not until Marley knows everything. Mom's face goes hard as stone. You have no right to interfere in our family matters. I have every right, Wells says, standing now. He's tall, imposing. I was your husband's business partner for 20 years. I was there when he wrote his will. And I was there when you altered the legal documents after his stroke. The entire patio goes silent. Guests inside the restaurant are starting to stare through the glass windows. Mom's carefully constructed mask cracks. You can't prove any of that. Wells smirks. It's not a nice smile. It's the smile of someone who's been waiting years for this exact moment. He opens the folder and spreads documents across the table. Emails. Bank transfers. Legal forms with dates that don't match. Would you like to explain why you filed amended estate documents 3 days after your husband's stroke? Wells asks quietly. Documents that removed Marley as beneficiary? Documents your husband never actually signed. Mom's face drains of all color. Several guests gasp. Harper grabs the back of a chair to steady herself. You can't prove anything, Mom repeats, but her voice wavers now. Wells reaches into his briefcase one more time. He pulls out a small USB drive and places it gently on the table in front of me. This contains every email your mother deleted from your father's computer after he died, Wells explains. Including his clear instructions that you were to be named co-owner of the Memphis properties. 50-50 split with Harper. Your mother changed the documents to give everything to Harper alone. I pick up the USB drive. It's small and light but feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. Why would she do this? I whisper. Because your mother decided years ago that Harper was the successful daughter, Wells says bluntly. And you were the disappointment. She invested everything in Harper's image, Harper's success, Harper's future. Admitting you had value meant admitting she'd been wrong about you for decades. Mom's mouth opens and closes but no sound comes out. She looks like a fish drowning in air. Harper sinks into a chair, her face buried in her hands. Wells turns to me, his expression softening slightly. The question is, Marley, do you want your inheritance back? Because I can help you fight for it. But it won't be easy. It will destroy what's left of your family relationships. I look at the USB drive. At Dad's letter. At my sister crying. At my mother's face twisted with rage and fear. Yes, I say quietly. Firmly. I want what's mine. The party dissolves into chaos after that. Guests start leaving, whispering to each other. Harper disappears into the bathroom. Mom stands frozen by the window, staring at nothing. Wells and I move to a quiet corner of the restaurant. He pulls out his phone and makes 3 calls while I sit there, numb and overwhelmed. I've contacted my attorney, Wells says when he's done. We're filing a legal inquiry into the estate documents. Quietly. No press yet. We'll request forensic examination of the paperwork and your father's signature. How long will this take? I ask. Months. Maybe a year. But we have evidence, Marley. Real evidence. Your father kept copies of everything with me because he didn't trust your mother near the end. I nod slowly, trying to process this massive shift in my reality. That's when Harper's boyfriend, Trevor, appears beside our table. He's 28, works in finance, always been polite to me but distant. Now he looks absolutely panicked. Marley, can I talk to you? He asks, his voice shaking. Alone. Wells raises an eyebrow but stands. I'll give you 5 minutes. Then we need to go. Trevor sits down heavily, running his hands through his hair. He won't meet my eyes. I need to tell you something, he says. Something Harper made me do. Trevor looks like he might be sick. He keeps glancing toward the bathroom where Harper disappeared. At family gatherings, he starts, his voice barely audible. Harper would tell me things to say about you. Little comments. Jokes. Things to make you look bad. My stomach knots. What kind of things? Like that time at Thanksgiving 2 years ago when I said you probably couldn't hold down a real job? Harper told me to say that. Or at Christmas when I made that joke about you still driving your old car. She wrote it for me. She'd coach me before every family event. Tell me exactly what to say to make you look less successful, less stable, less valuable. The betrayal cuts deeper than I expected. Why would you do that? Trevor finally looks at me, and I see genuine shame in his eyes. Because I love her. Because I thought that's just how families were. Competitive. But after hearing what Wells said out there, I don't think I really knew what she was doing. What she's capable of. He reaches across the table like he wants to take my hand but stops himself. There's something else. Something worse. About your mother. My blood goes cold. What about my mother? Trevor swallows hard. The rental properties your dad left. The ones generating income? Your mother has been siphoning that money for 3 years. Into a private account she calls Harper's future wedding fund. I can't breathe. How much? At least $200,000. Maybe more. And Marley. He pauses. The city's planning an audit. Soon. The audit notice arrives 4 days later. I'm not there when Mom opens it, but Harper calls me, crying hysterically. The city is auditing Dad's rental properties, she sobs into the phone. They're looking at all the financial records for the past 5 years. Marley, Mom is freaking out. She's locked herself in her room. I sit on my couch, holding the phone, feeling strangely calm. Like I'm watching this happen to someone else. Why are they auditing? I ask, even though I already know. Wells arranged it through his attorney. I don't know, Harper lies. But if they discover that Mom moved money around, Marley, she could be charged with fraud. We could lose everything. You mean you could lose everything, I correct quietly. I already lost mine years ago. Harper goes silent. Then she starts crying again. Harder this time. Not the performative crying she does at parties. Real, ugly, terrified crying. Please, she whispers. Please don't do this. We're family. Family. I repeat the word. It tastes bitter. Was it family when you stole my scholarship? When you sabotaged my internship? When Mom hid Dad's letter? Harper hangs up. My phone buzzes immediately with a text from Wells. Meet me at my office. 4 p.m. It's time. I stare at the message. This is it. The moment where I decide how far I'm willing to go. I text back. I'll be there. Wells's office is downtown in a glass high-rise. His assistant leads me to a corner office with views of the entire city. Wells is there with a woman in her 50s wearing a sharp black suit. Marley. This is Amanda Pierce. She's the estate attorney I mentioned. She'll be handling your case. We shake hands. Amanda's grip is firm and confident. We sit around a massive conference table covered with documents. The city audit begins officially next week, Amanda explains. They'll examine all financial records for the Memphis rental properties. Given what Wells has shown me, they'll likely discover the unauthorized transfers your mother made. What happens then? I ask. Best case scenario? Your mother is forced to return the money with penalties. Worst case? Criminal charges for estate fraud and embezzlement. My hands feel cold. This is real. This is actually happening. And Harper. If she knowingly benefited from the fraud, she could be implicated as well. Amanda slides a document across to me. This is a temporary power of attorney transfer. Wells has been holding legal authority over your father's properties as executor trustee, waiting for the rightful heir to surface. If you sign this, authority transfers to you immediately. I stare at the paper. My signature here changes everything. I pick up the pen. My hand doesn't shake. I sign. 3 days later, Harper shows up at my apartment at 11 at night. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our stories. Drop your comments if you've ever been betrayed. I'm in my pajamas watching TV when the doorbell rings. I check the peephole and see Harper standing there, mascara smeared down her face, hair a mess, still wearing the designer outfit from some event. I almost don't open the door. But something in her face makes me turn the lock. Harper stumbles inside like she hasn't slept in days. "Marley," she says, her voice raw. "Please. We need to talk." I don't offer her a seat. I just wait. Harper wraps her arms around herself, shivering even though my apartment is warm. The audit started today. They showed up at Mom's house with boxes and lawyers. They're going through everything. Every bank statement. Every check. Every transfer. "I know," I say simply. Harper looks up at me, and for the first time in our lives, I'm the one with power. She's the one begging. "Please don't do this," Harper whispers. "If they find what Mom did, I'll lose everything. The condo. The investments. Everything I built. Everything you built with money that was supposed to be mine," I interrupt. "Everything you built while I struggled." "I didn't know," Harper says, "but it's a weak lie. We both know it." "You knew enough," I reply. My phone rings. Mom's name flashes on the screen. I answer, putting it on speaker. Marley Elizabeth Chen. Mom's voice cuts through the apartment like a knife. "What have you done?" Mom's voice is pure ice. "I know you're behind this audit. I know Wells Thompson is helping you. This is a betrayal of everything this family stands for." "What does this family stand for, Mom?" I ask, my voice surprisingly steady. "Lies? Theft. Making one daughter invisible so the other can shine." "How dare you? How dare I?" I interrupt, something breaking loose inside me. How dare I finally ask for what Dad wanted me to have? How dare I not just disappear quietly so Harper can keep living off my inheritance? Silence. Then Mom's voice drops to something dark and threatening. "If you go through with this, if you expose what happened, you're no longer part of this family. Do you understand me? You'll be dead to us. No holidays. No weddings. No grandchildren someday. Nothing. You'll be alone." I look at Harper, who's crying silently on my couch. "I've been alone my whole life, Mom," I say quietly. "You just never noticed because you were too busy celebrating Harper." I hang up. Harper stares at me like I'm a stranger. "Marley, please." My phone buzzes with a text from Wells. "Need to tell you something. Tonight. It's urgent. Bigger than everything so far." I show Harper the text. She goes even paler than before. "What could be bigger than this?" she whispers. "I don't know," I reply. "But I'm about to find out." I meet Wells at a 24-hour diner across town. It's 2 in the morning. He's drinking black coffee and looks tired but sharp. I slide into the booth across from him. "What's so urgent it couldn't wait until morning?" I ask. Wells pushes a folder across the table. "Your father was smarter than anyone gave him credit for. Especially near the end." I open the folder. Inside is a bank statement for an account I've never seen before. My name is on it. The balance makes me freeze. $750,000. I whisper. "Your father opened this account 6 months before he died," Wells explains. "He suspected your mother was planning to divert assets. So he created a reserve fund in your name only. He told me about it 2 days before his stroke. Made me promise to give you access when the time was right." "Why didn't you tell me earlier?" "Because the account had a trigger condition. It only unlocks when someone files a legal challenge to the estate. Your father set it up that way deliberately. He knew you wouldn't fight unless you had the resources to fight properly." I stare at the numbers. $750,000. Enough to hire the best attorneys. Enough to rebuild everything I lost. Enough to never depend on anyone again. When does the account unlock? I ask. Wells checks his watch. Midnight tonight. In about 40 minutes. My phone rings. Harper. Screaming. Mom just fainted. We're at the hospital. Please come. Please. I meet Harper at Memorial Hospital's emergency room. She's pacing in the waiting area, her designer heels clicking against the linoleum floor. When she sees me, she rushes over. They think it's stress, Harper says quickly. Her blood pressure was through the roof. They're running tests. I sit down in one of the uncomfortable plastic chairs. I feel numb. Empty. Marley, please. Harper sits beside me. I know I don't deserve to ask this. But can we just stop? Can we just go back to how things were? Back to you stealing everything that was meant for me? I ask quietly. Back to Mom hiding letters from Dad? Back to me sitting outside at your birthday party? Harper flinches. I didn't know how bad it had gotten. I didn't see. You saw, I interrupt. You just didn't care because it benefited you. A doctor appears. Family of Patricia Chen? We both stand. Your mother is stable. But we found something concerning in her tests. My chest tightens. What? She's been under extreme stress for weeks. Maybe months. Her cortisol levels are dangerously high. We're going to keep her overnight for observation. After the doctor leaves, Harper turns to me. The audit. It's destroying her. My phone buzzes. A notification from my bank. The reserve account has just unlocked. $750,000 now available. I look at the number. Then at my sister. Mom destroyed herself, I say quietly. This is just the consequence. 3 days after Mom's hospital scare, the audit results leak. I don't know who gave the information to the press. Maybe a clerk at City Hall. Maybe someone with a grudge. But suddenly it's everywhere. Local news websites. Social media. Prominent Memphis family under investigation for estate fraud. Mom's photo. Harper's photo. Our family name dragged through headlines. My phone explodes with messages. Old friends. Former classmates. People I haven't talked to in years, suddenly very interested in my life. Harper's Instagram, usually filled with perfect photos and thousands of likes, goes dark. The comments on her last post are brutal. Thief. Fraud. Karma. Mom stays in her house with the curtains drawn. According to Trevor, who's still talking to me despite everything, she hasn't eaten in 2 days. Harper loses her marketing director position. Budget cuts, they call it. But everyone knows the real reason. Her perfectly curated life is crumbling, brick by brick. And then a reporter calls my cell phone. Miss Chen, I'm Rebecca Wu from Channel 7 News. We're doing a story on your family's estate situation. Would you like to comment? I almost hang up. Then I think about Dad's letter. About years of being invisible. About sitting outside at birthday parties. Yes, I say. I'd like to make a statement. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our stories. Drop your comments if you've ever been betrayed. The interview airs 3 days later. I watch it alone in my apartment, a glass of wine in my hand. The reporter introduces me as the daughter who was written out of her father's will. I look calm on camera. Composed. Not angry. My father was a good man who built a successful business, I say in the interview. He wanted both his daughters to have opportunities. He wanted both of us to succeed. But after his stroke, things changed. Documents were altered. His wishes were ignored. I'm not looking for revenge. I'm looking for justice. I want what my father intended me to have. The reporter asks if I blame my mother and sister. I don't blame anyone for being human, I say carefully. But actions have consequences. And sometimes those consequences take years to arrive. I sound wise. Measured. Graceful. The comments section explodes with support. She's handling this with such dignity. This is how you do revenge, with class. Her father would be proud. But the best part happens the next morning. Trevor calls me, his voice shaking. Harper's fiancé broke off their engagement. I'm silent. He said he can't marry into a family under investigation. He said his reputation is too important. I should feel triumph. Victory. But I just feel tired. How is she? I ask. Broken, Trevor says quietly. Completely broken. That afternoon, Harper shows up at my work. Security calls me down to the lobby. She's there in jeans and a sweatshirt, no makeup, looking nothing like the golden girl who told me to sit outside. Help me, she whispers. Please. Harper stands in my office building lobby, crying in front of security guards and strangers walking past. I take her outside to a bench by the parking lot. We sit in silence for a long time. I lost everything, Harper finally says. My job. My fiancé. My friends won't return my calls. Mom won't talk to me. She blames me for starting this by humiliating you at the party. You did start this, I say quietly. Harper nods, tears streaming down her face. I know I did. I've been a terrible sister. Worse than terrible. I was cruel. And now I have nothing. She looks at me with red, swollen eyes. You won. You can stop now. Please just stop. I think about Dad's letter. About the scholarship I never got. About the internship I lost. About sitting outside while everyone celebrated her. I already did stop, I say. This isn't me destroying you, Harper. This is the truth destroying the lies you built your life on. So that's it. Harper asks. You're just going to watch me fall apart? I stand up, brushing off my work pants. I watched you celebrate for years while I struggled. You never helped me. You actively hurt me. Why should I help you now? Harper has no answer. I walk back inside, and I don't look back. The legal hearing is scheduled for 2 weeks from today. Everything will be decided then. The courthouse is intimidating. Gray stone. High ceilings. The smell of old wood and anxiety. Wells sits beside me at a long table. Amanda Pierce, my attorney, spreads documents in front of us. Mom and Harper sit at the opposing table with their lawyer, a nervous-looking man in his 60s who keeps adjusting his glasses. The judge is a woman in her 50s with sharp eyes that miss nothing. This is a hearing regarding the estate of Richard Chen, she begins. We're examining allegations of document alteration and asset misappropriation. Amanda stands, calm and professional. She presents Dad's original letter. The one Mom hid. She shows the email chain Wells preserved. She displays the financial records showing Mom's transfers to Harper's wedding fund. She presents forensic analysis of Dad's signature on the amended documents. This signature was digitally copied and pasted. The forensic expert testifies. Richard Chen never actually signed these amended estate papers. Mom's lawyer tries to argue. But the evidence is overwhelming. Undeniable. The judge reviews everything in silence that seems to last forever. Finally, she looks up. Based on the evidence presented, I find that the estate documents were indeed fraudulently altered. The original will and estate plan shall be reinstated. Harper starts crying. Mom sits frozen, her face completely blank. All assets shall be divided as Richard Chen originally intended, the judge continues. 50% to each daughter. Additionally, funds improperly transferred shall be returned with interest. Mom's lawyer stands. Your Honor, my client doesn't have the funds to. Then she'll need to liquidate assets, the judge says firmly. This court finds clear evidence of estate fraud. I'm referring this case to the district attorney for potential criminal charges. The courtroom goes silent. Then Mom stands up and screams. Mom's scream echoes through the courtroom. This is your fault. She's pointing at Harper. This is all your fault. If you hadn't humiliated her at that party, none of this would have happened. Harper shrinks back like she's been slapped. Mom, You just had to rub it in her face. Mom continues, her voice getting higher, more hysterical. You couldn't just let her fade away quietly. You had to make a scene. Security guards move toward our table, but Mom isn't done. She turns to me, her face twisted with rage and something that might be pain. You destroyed this family. Are you happy now? Are you satisfied? I stand up slowly. My voice comes out steady and calm. I didn't destroy anything, Mom. I just stopped pretending the destruction wasn't there. The judge bangs her gavel. Order. Mrs. Chen, sit down immediately or I'll hold you in contempt. Mom sits, but she's still glaring at Harper. Her golden child. Her chosen daughter. The one she sacrificed me for. And now she's blaming Harper for it all. As we leave the courtroom, Wells walks beside me. Your father would be proud, he says quietly. I'm not sure if I believe that. But I want to. Harper catches up to us in the parking lot, mascara running down her face. Marley, wait. I stop. Turn. I didn't know, Harper says. I swear I didn't know how far Mom had gone. I didn't know about Dad's letter until that night. I didn't know she'd forged his signature. But you knew enough, I reply. You knew you were stealing opportunities from me. And you did it anyway. Wells touches my arm. We should go. But Harper grabs my hand. Please. Just tell me one thing. Why? Why did Dad choose you? I look at my sister, really look at her, maybe for the first time in years. She's 30 years old but looks so much younger right now. Lost. Broken. You really don't know? I ask. Harper shakes her head. Tears streaming. Wells clears his throat. I can answer that if you'd like. Both Harper and I turn to him. Wells looks sad suddenly. Older. Your father had another stroke 6 months before he died. A small one. The doctors caught it early. But he was scared. Wells continues. He called me at 2 in the morning. Asked me to come to the hospital. When I got there, only Marley was in the room. I remember that night. I'd been staying at Dad's house, helping him after Mom left to visit her sister. I'd heard him fall in the bathroom. Called 911. Rode in the ambulance with him. Your mother and Harper arrived the next morning, Wells says, looking at Harper. With flowers and concern. But Marley? She stayed for 3 days straight. Slept in a chair. Fed your father when his hands shook too much. Read to him. She protected him when he was at his weakest. Harper's face crumbles. I didn't know he'd had another stroke. Mom said he had the flu. Because your mother didn't want to worry you, Wells says. She was always protecting you from difficult things. But your father noticed who showed up when things were hard. Wells pulls out one final document. Your father wrote this, 2 days after that stroke. He gave it to me for safekeeping. He hands it to Harper. She reads it aloud, her voice shaking. Harper is brilliant and beautiful and destined for success. But Marley is strong. And when the world falls apart, strength matters more than beauty. We're standing outside the courthouse in the afternoon sun. Memphis traffic rushes past. Normal people living normal lives, unaware that mine just completely changed. Harper hands the letter back to Wells. She looks at me. I didn't know, she whispers. Honestly, I didn't know about that stroke. About you staying with him. About any of it. I know, I say. And I do know. Mom controlled information in our family like a weapon. Harper was probably told some version of events that made her look good and me look unnecessary. What happens now? Harper asks. Now you figure out who you are without Mom directing your life, I reply. Without stolen scholarships and sabotaged opportunities. Without money that wasn't yours. Harper nods slowly. Can I ever fix this? Can we ever be sisters again? I think about that question. Really think about it. I don't know, I say honestly. Maybe someday. But not today. Not for a long time. Harper reaches out like she wants to hug me, then stops herself. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything. But I am so sorry. She walks away toward the parking lot, shoulders hunched. She looks smaller than I've ever seen her. Trevor's waiting by a car. He opens the door for her, and they drive away. I turn to Wells. Thank you. For everything. Wells smiles. Your father was my best friend. This was the least I could do. He reaches into his briefcase one more time. Before you go, there's one more thing. To continue, please smash the like button, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do not miss our revenge story. Drop your comments if you've ever been betrayed. Wells hands me a final envelope. It's thin, light. My name is written on the front in Dad's handwriting. He gave me this the day before he died, Wells says softly. Made me promise to give it to you after everything was settled. After you'd fought for yourself. I open it with shaking hands. Inside is a single sheet of paper. Dad's last words to me. My dearest Marley. It reads. If you're reading this, it means you found your strength. It means you stopped letting them make you invisible. I'm so proud of you. Not because you won, but because you finally chose yourself. Your mother and sister will push you outside, diminish you, make you feel small. That's what people do when they're afraid of your potential. But here's the secret I learned too late. When they push you outside, you don't have to stay there begging to come back in. You build your own house. A better house. One with room for people who actually see you. Choose yourself. Marley. Always choose yourself. With all my love, Dad. I read it 3 times, tears streaming down my face. Wells squeezes my shoulder gently, then walks away, giving me privacy. I stand there in the Memphis sunlight, holding my father's final words, and I feel something I haven't felt in years. Peace. 6 months later, I'm standing in front of one of Dad's rental properties. It's been renovated. Fresh paint. New landscaping. A sign out front reads, Chen Property Management, Marley Chen, owner. I've rebuilt everything. Not the way Mom wanted. Not the way Harper would have done it. My way. Harper never contacts me again. She moves to another city. Starts over. Maybe she finds herself. Maybe she doesn't. That's not my story to tell anymore. Mom fades from my life like morning fog. No dramatic confrontation. No tearful reconciliation. Just absence. And I'm okay with that. I rise quietly, steadily. Exactly the way Dad believed I always would. Not with flash or performance. But with strength. With integrity. With the knowledge that I don't need their approval to be worthy. I already am. I always was. I just needed to choose myself. And now finally I have.